just a bit. Do we have any parting questions for Mr. VindicareX, winner of yesterday's tournament?
How does it feel to be a champion?
Indeed. Have you eaten your
Ah,
Wheaties yet?
my Wheaties, the breakfast of champions. I know.
Are you on the cover yet? I mean, when is that going to
No,
happen?
I have not had any Wheaties since my victory. And in all seriousness, it feels pretty good because this is actually the first tournament I actually placed first in.
Oh, really?
Even though despite me joining, a lot of tournaments, I never managed to really place first.
And not only did you place first in a Dawn of War 2 tournament, you placed first in a Dawn of War 2 tournament with
The
over
GRS tournament B, yeah.
over 100 entrants too. So really big tournament. Like, I could stand here and say game replays, game replays, game replays all day, but I mean, end of the day, it's like, there are 100 people. You start in a round of 128, you've got to get all the way to the finals and dethrone Edja to do that. Man. And not doing it with Space Marines either. Not doing it with a race that like even got touched in the patch.
Well, it would be if I played Plague Champion, but I didn't.
Yeah. And I think is Luckar have to go? Yeah. All right. So goodbye, Luckar. But we'll keep this going. So yeah. I mean, we'll cover more in the winners interview, but trying to figure what other questions there are. I mean, you answered the one about the grenades, which I think was the big one. Just I believe that game from tournament A, it was just one of the most watched, other than Foot of Gork and stuff.
And
or
if you did know, so I never really picked Sorcerer unless I said that one game he was Tyranids, because from like back in tournament A, Ed would he had he equipped a Death Spin on his
yeah.
Worst by Exarch, and my Sorcerer, I invested so much in him, he couldn't do anything out of it. So I figured if I just tried to do the same strategy with that, he'd just counter with one War Gear and I'd be done. So he can't knock down the Chaos Lord.
Chaos
so that's
Lord,
why
exactly. That's interesting. So would you I'd say the Chaos Lord, my bad, Chaos Sorcerer there is probably you'd say your main though, right?
Yeah, I'd be Chaos Sorcerer the most.
And then just kind of Chaos Lord as that secondary
Yeah,
backup.
yeah.
But
I basically I've almost never been the Chaos Lord 1v1. I mean, I've been in a bunch in some other times. So I know how he works, but I never had much substantial practice in my ladder matches.
so you just kind of like went with it in the GRS and it just worked out for you.
Well, I knew what I was going to do with him, but I didn't have any because like I said, I played with him a lot in team games and stuff.
Oh,
But
okay, yeah. So
yeah,
that flows in pretty decently. I mean, actually, the one nice thing about team games in Dawn of War 2 is definitely like, as far as the micro of the units go, like the gameplay, because you have so much more emphasis on capping in 1v1 versus 2v2, but like the actual combat, like you get more of it in team games, and it's kind of like you have more of all your forces there, and so you can actually carry a lot of that combat knowledge over to 1v1 really nicely. But the other thing too, the other switch you made was against Keltos.
Space Marines.
Yeah.
Well, Space Marines I try to play them as my main race. I play them mostly in the lair, and Chaos is my secondary race.
So you. I mean, I've heard like conflicting stuff on that, but every time I see you in a tournament, I always usually see you as playing Chaos. So
Well,
I've kind of
usually as I play Space Marines, I become as I play Space Marines against Eldar, when I lose, I get terribly demoralized, and sort of that's like a little thing I do. I just switch races, try to keep it, just to give me some sort of new strategy to come up with to beat what they're doing. So that's why I have. I was beating Space Marines in the earlier stages of tournaments, but against the other players, I was being Chaos.
Okay, so if you had your way though, if you felt that you were, I don't know I don't know quite how to phrase this, but if you felt better about Space Marines, maybe you would play Space Marines the whole tournament for every tournament.
Yeah, I think my strategy them's a little off because I play them a lot how I play Chaos, and that I'd like to try to get all around my opponent and just try to just be really aggressive instead of the Space Marines. I kind of when I see other people play, when they play more defensively, they have an easier time getting to tier 2 and 3, and which is what you really need, especially against Eldar. And I don't know, my style of play with them needs to change because I think I'm overly aggressive with them, which is what caused me to overextend them and not get up my macro enough to tier 3.
Yeah, it always can depend. I feel like the new patch I feel like really enhanced the capability of Space Marines to be aggressive though. Like, especially against orcs, I've noticed when I'm playing Space Marines, I'm able to kind of just really keep up the pressure. But because I mean, 50 requisition. Well, actually, against orcs for me, usually it's actually 100 requisition that I'm saving. But hint, hint, what I go double tax. But, um, yeah, so that's certainly interesting. Yeah, it seems like Space Marines don't really seem to fit as an aggressive race. But so is it? Would you say that you like them just from a lore perspective, like fluff wise?
Yeah, that's why I beat him.
Okay.
I started out playing Dawn of War as Chaos. The Corn Berserkers was just so awesome back then in Dawn of War 1. And so eventually I just got more and more into the lore of the Imperiums. That's why I've been playing a lot more Space Marines in the game, and also because they didn't have Chaos in Dawn of War 2
Yeah,
when
when they
it came out.
first started.
So that's also another incentive.
Yeah, that's true. So you get to start with have to pick up like chaos partway through. Okay, and it
Yeah.
kind of just makes more sense. One of those things, where you have a lot of because there are so many Space Marine players, and then you get complaints about this and that, and it's really one of the toughest races probably to actually balance because you do have, they are like when you say Warhammer 40,000, what's like the first thing that comes to your mind, like as an image, right, is of a Space Marine usually. I mean, I think even though I'm a big fan of like orcs and other things, still that big Space Marine and that iconic power armor is just like it is 40k in some ways, and even though the faction is designed like Relic couldn't just make Space Marines be like, haha, we're Space Marines, we stomp everything. They had to kind of specialize them a bit, and anytime you make a faction into balance for competitive play, I guess.
Yeah.
You sort of open it up to a lot of people that might like it fluff wise won't necessarily like it in terms of how it plays.
Well, they did little better with the fluff than Dawn of War 1, because Dawn of War 1 you had like hordes of Space Marines running at like slightly larger squads of orcs and Eldar and stuff. But in like this game, you like at most have like if you have like an infantry army, you'll have like 12 units, and you'll be facing down like 20 or 30 other units at once.
Yeah, or as some of my friends put it originally, it takes 30 minutes to build one Space Marine. But so I think that covers most of the things as far as the tournament goes. Unless you have anything else you wanted to say on that, or
not in particular. We're gonna like have more complete form of this a little later, right?
Yeah. Like it won't be in voice though, so there's always something to be said for getting in voice, and certainly IC Cup and Donna and I can't speak today. What is this? But IC Cup and Game Replays technically different entities and stuff. So this is my interview for IC Cup, but Game Replays is his own thing.
All right, yeah. So and also like to say like I forgot. I remember. I've also been I wanted to help support ever since like it's probably I decided this like 6 months ago, try to be more active in the community endeavors. Like I try to do some ESL stuff and support the competitive community not only just to win, but just to put some player base behind it. And also I even signed up for as a Games Replay subscriber, because not only loads of advantage it gives, but I figured it may one way or another help the community for Dawn of War 2.
I don't know how much I'm allowed to actually say on exactly what the subscriber stuff does, but the basic reason why it costs you anything is because we have to take away ads for it, or not we, Game Replays has to take away ads for it. So it actually is one of those like things where there's some revenue offset with it, where like it's not a straight.
Yeah,
but
I hear you.
For a lot of users, it does help, but the benefits you get from it are really nice. So
yeah, it's pretty awesome, anyways.
Yeah, like that's why I did it even as a staff member. Like, I was kind of like, this looks interesting. Oh, look, wider forums. Oh, look, everything loads faster. Like, it really works as advertised. I'm like, okay, this is something I need when I'm uploading multiple images to an image bank topic. Just one at a time. There's no bulk upload. The only thing we have bulk upload for is replays. So.
Yeah, and also as the last thing before we get off, I've been eyeing your expert badge for about a year now, and how's that going to factor in?
So you're looking at one of those expert badges, eh?
He even made a post, so I think someone did, like a whole new wave of experts starting with Texanius. He got
Yeah.
one.
But the best way to go about that, I mean, or game replays. I have to keep making this differentiation, but game replays really still is looking at and having existing experts kind of be the key holders, right? So you really want to look to talk to some of them,
All right.
like Choco, and well, okay, up to you.
Yeah, I got you. I hear you.
Aki, Tex, all those guys. Kind of talk to them, kind of get their approval and try and get them to sponsor you and kind of push you through. Because on the staff side of things, we're always kind of like, we want to keep the experts to a minimum. And honestly, I don't know. I mean, it's something where I haven't, when you got to round of 16 last time and took a game off of Edge, it was the first time that I really recognized you as a competitive player. I'd seen you on the forums all the time, but in terms of like competition and stuff like that, that was like the first time that I was real like, whoa, this VindicareX guy, kind of impressive.
Yeah, I've been actually playing against Edja for quite a few months. Even though he consistently beat me, he was like one of the very few players who consistently beat me every time I beat him, mostly in 2s and 1s in tournaments and stuff. So I was going up against him the first game, like what you just said. I did get one game off, so that was I was content with that. I would have liked to play a little better, and obviously I think I put in a lot more practice recently to help prepare for this tournament. And if anyone who wants to play more tournaments in anything, practice does really help.
Yeah, there is just no substitute for practice ever. But yeah, as far as the expert goes, I mean, you'll probably meet some resistance because this is really just your second major recent showing, and kind of the idea of the expert badge is it should last forever. I mean, there have been some experts who have proven that wrong. But a lot of the current guys who have it have just been around for a while and really established themselves over the course of 6 months, a year. Like even Tex, he's really making a re-showing now of sorts, but he was kind of he'd been around a lot before and kind of been really well recognized even then. So
yeah.
But definitely, I mean, I think this certainly puts you on the fast track towards one. So if you continue to play the way you have, and you continue to beat high-profile players like Edja in tournament play, then I would. Staff does have some capability to go to the experts. Why have you guys not confirmed this person yet? I mean, we did kind of initiate the text thing, so.
Yeah. All right. So yeah, at least I have a little better idea about how it goes on, because before he just told me, I had very little idea about how that little process went along.
Yeah, it's actually something that we probably should publicize a little more, just because people will actually get mad at staff, why are these people not experts? And the staff is just talk to the experts. So Holy Hammer is another person that is kind of, a lot of players feel like, why is Holy Hammer not yet an expert? And it's well, he hasn't. The experts haven't put him up for expert yet. Or actually, he is up right now, I think, but haven't confirmed him yet.
his avatar troll face. No offense, Holy, I love it, but it's not helping your cause.
No, it really isn't. I mean, unfortunately, you're as an expert, we technically expert is really all about being able to distinguish good replays. Was originally why it was conceived, was the idea give the expert badge to players who have proven themselves, and just all of their replays are just excellent examples of playing the game for the most part. And then also to highlight their forum posts and such, but that being the secondary factor. Yeah, the replays being the top factor, but it's kind of supposed to be play first and then manner second. For example, the whole thing with Choco Bambus, people wanted his expert badge removed, but we actually went to the highest levels of replays and came back with
I read your post. Yeah, I
really bad behavior, but he didn't cheat as far as gameplay is concerned. So as far his skill, right? If anything, it actually kind of went back and was oh, by the way, he beat all these really high-level players, and it wasn't even getting recognized for it. Now he is, but so as far as the expert system is concerned, it almost worked in his favor. Although we all have to kind of pinch our noses and and hold them up. at what he did, because it's still not considered good behavior. But I think actually it's one of those things where you kind of shifted it now to be should have good behavior upon confirmation, but like after that, it's much harder to really enforce that. So
Yeah, I hear ya.
but
All right. Well, as for the writing portion of this interview, I feeling it to be more detailed on my part because usually when I write, I have a little more time to think out what I say.
yeah,
So
everyone does.
don't worry, if anyone's listening to this, you have a good taste of a more in-depth interview
Yeah, you
when
get
the thing comes.
a preview of what is to come. This first outing, just a first. We'll stick with that. All right. I really should have had a better way
Alright.
of putting that.
And do you want what are we gonna do that tomorrow or later today or what? Because just I know yesterday you were sleeping for 16 hours.
Yeah. Yesterday I was absolutely dead after covering for Harlequin.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, I was planning on just after this maybe going through it really quickly.
Yeah,
Or
I'd be up for that.
or tonight. I mean, I don't want to wait too long for it, but
Yeah.
up to you. Because I also want to watch. Ooh, I wonder if there is new Chuck on tonight. If
The
there-
featured the featured news is still a picture of Edja.
Yeah, that's
and
true. We should probably change.
this-
Okay. All
This
right.
displeases Zeratul.
Alrighty. So yeah, after we finish with this, we will start the written interview. So everyone, go ahead and
Alright.
look for that.
Okay.
On GameReplays.org. As far as the dailies are concerned, this is now addressed to everyone. I don't know what the stuttering is, why it's happening. It makes no sense because when I transmit to Own3D, it works just fine, and when I transmit to Icy Cup TV too, apparently on Ustream, it seems to not be fine. Why in the world it makes a difference? Like, because it's the local image is actually having an issue for me too. So I don't know why it's doing what it's doing, guys. Check in tomorrow. We'll we'll post a little thing up if we're not having the daily, but we're going to plan on having the daily tomorrow. And as far as the numbering scheme for the dailies goes, Vindicare. So what I'm gonna do actually is I don't know if I'm even gonna bother, unfortunately, posting what we did in Last Stand on YouTube
Because of the streaming issues.
just because the video is so choppy.
Yeah.
I was watching it on my second screen and it was just so bad. And our YouTube viewers there are some people who just watch the YouTube portion of the show and they get annoyed by the fact that we're really a streaming first kind of show. So the mere fact that number one, we can only really output in 720p because of the streaming. Even though I could do 1080p if it weren't for limitations as far as streaming goes. And then also some editing stuff, which actually, by the way, that's the big announcement I have as well, is that valued community member, let me get his name. Oh, I need to get his name. Where is it?
Who is it?
I think it was, yes, Ajynx. That's AJYNKS. He was watching the Game Replays open season. He also said that he watches the daily usually as well, so an awesome community member on the whole. You can't have a better community member than that. Watch the Game Replays open season and watches the Icy Cup dailies. Yes, sir, please.
Props to him.
Indeed. So anyway, he messaged me and said that he wanted to try and help me out with the decryption issues as far as the XSplit videos goes. And he found a program for me that's able to go ahead and do that. So I am now able to edit the XSplit VODs. That means when we post them on YouTube, we don't have to have some of the stuff that has been on them before because it's all linked by one streaming deal. I start streaming and then I end streaming, and that's all one video. that was basically how it was before, and there was nothing I could do about it. But now I can go ahead and crop those up for you guys and make them all nice and such. I won't do a ton of editing because for a daily show there's only so much editing you can put in without going insane. But as far as actually being able to cut some bad things out that you don't want to see, I can do that now, so you guys can at least stop complaining about that. And yeah, so again, unfortunately, we did actually have a Last Stand thing today with VindicareX and myself and Lockhart. But we're not going to be posting that up because it is just the video is not, you don't.
Understandable. Yeah.
Yeah. So I guess we'll just call this, as far as the numbering scheme goes, just interview with VindicareX.
All right, yeah.
All right, that sounds awesome to me. And Dawn of War 2 daily number 16 is still to be had. We will
All right.
solve these issues at some point, and once we do,
Just bear with us.
indeed. Well, wait a minute.
And also, before
Do you want to
before
become part of us?
it depends how my schedule works out. I'll probably need to get back to you on that. But before I hop off, a lot of people have been, well, not a lot, like some people have been asking me for the replays from the finals, and
Mhm.
I can't give it to them because
Yeah.
we'll be disqualified. So when's that going up?
They're actually like basically almost all up right now. I think the finals ones are up. Let me go ahead and check that. I'll go ahead and post a link in chat, by the way, for you guys too. Um, I,
Like, what portal are they under? Like replays or tournaments?
they're under events is where they are. But
Oh,
on, they
events.
are. Yeah, so you go when you go to replays.
Yeah, I see events. I
Boop,
see it.
yep, and you go under tournament B. Again, pretty obvious. Yeah, so the finals ones are indeed up there. I'll go ahead and post the link for that. And do to do. Oh, okay. Apparently links are allowed right now. There we go. If you guys can't see that, let me know. But it seemed to say that links were allowed, so. Whatever troopers are still out there, I should say. But yeah, so the replays are there. There's all some great games. You should go ahead and watch them. Oh, that's what I want to ask you, by the way. What did you think when? Oh, did he not go Inquisitor in the final? No, I guess he didn't.
He went Warfare Exarch and Civil Frontier.
Yeah. There was one. Okay, that's what it was against Raikou. That's right. That he won Inquisitor, but he was actually showing Inquisitor for a bit in that in the load screen, kind of for in the ready room. He was showing Inquisitor. What were you thinking if he did go Inquisitor? What would you have expected that at all? Because I mean, I know I hadn't seen until like earlier in the tournament. I had not seen Ed like ever go Imperial Guard. Of all the races that we know he can play.
Well, I actually have been seeing. I haven't been watching replays, but I have been noticing some replays where he's Imperial Guard, and I guess and he says he's Inquisitor. So I wouldn't. That's why I didn't put it too far past him to go Inquisitor, because he's been doing that a lot in 2v2. I don't know, but it's an entirely different game with her in 1v1, so I didn't know how that would work out. Anyways, I would be more comfortable facing Imperial Guard because I just don't really like facing Eldor. I mean, not that they're imbalanced or anything. That's so arguable.
They're
Just
tricky.
like that. Yeah, they're just tricky. You have to like be on top of your positioning so much as compared to Imperial Guard, where you want to get on top of their positioning. So it's like a whole different like sort of experience against Imperial Guard, and I guess more refreshing taste, and like try to keep up on his gameplay. If that makes sense.
Yeah, I know it makes sense to me. I think. But yeah. So I guess you'll have to go ahead and see. Well, I guess we'll all have to go ahead and see if that little mini file hack thingy works, where we can go ahead and watch 3.14 replays and 3.14.1, so we can go ahead and watch all this awesome stuff. Because we were really hoping for the daily we would be able to keep these things our own and be like, ha, we've got material for like so many weeks, and then it's like, oh no.
What? Wait, what replaces? Like, because isn't the tournament B is in 3.14, right?
Yeah, it's in 3.14, so we're in 3.14.1 now.
Oh yeah, so yeah, I'm sure. Wait, what did they fix then?
And they fixed
They made hotfix?
feeder tendrils not working on heavy infantry, and they fixed the
Yeah, I see it.
the
Yeah.
Farseer box, which unfortunately,
The box here.
yeah, I was watching a replay of that earlier, and it is just so much lols, especially when she pops.
She's overpowered because you can't see what weapon she has.
You can't see when she's popping a special either. That's the other funny thing. But actually, when she equipped Ghost Helm, it all fixed itself. So that was always weird. And then apparently Inquisitor is now going to be range stance when she upgrades to her crossbow, which I don't know. I mean, I guess it does enough damage now to justify that. But I've always kind of felt she does like she's still one of those heroes that does enough damage in melee that she's still. But I guess the way I'm saying this is that I looked at the crossbow as more of a combi flamer sort of deal. Like you don't sit there with it in range.
Yeah.
You kind of sit there and chase with it. But I guess they feel differently. And apparently they fixed the clipping issue with the Dark Angels DLC. Like the robes and
With
stuff.
the Force Commander cape. With
I
Thunder
don't
Hammer.
know about that, but at least the Tactical Marines hood they
Oh,
fixed.
okay. All right.
So they are.
So, but yeah, I do remember a forum post telling you how to get back to since it's not a huge code change that you
Yeah.
can watch replays back.
Yeah, supposedly you can indeed just kind of revert like one little thing, and that will go ahead and let you view old replays as long as it's only a bug fix patch. If they've changed balance, then the whole like event will just be thrown off.
Yeah.
But yeah, so I guess we'll go ahead and see a bit of that, and yeah, I can't think of anything else at this point that we do probably need to wrap up, but
All right then. So I guess I'll get off now then and talk to you through Steam and a little later.
oh, definitely, and thank you very much for joining us, and I just want to kind of extend the offer preemptively. I don't know what we're doing this Friday, but any non-Game Replays open season Friday on the IC Cup Dawn of War 2 Daily, we have like Friday Fun Day or whatever. We go ahead and we do like show matches or King of the Hill or just any number of things that are not analyzing replays
Mm-hmm.
or not specifically analyzing replays, you know. But anyway, if you'd be interested in any kind of show match or anything, then
Yeah, I probably would. I mean, if you just hit me up on Steam, I'm usually on. I'm usually busy during the early afternoon, but otherwise I'm. Oh, by the way, I'm in Mountain Time, so I'm 2 hours behind you.
Okay. Alrighty then, so sounds good. Thank you very much for the interview. Thank you very much for partaking in Last Stand, which unfortunately our on-demand viewers won't see. But then again, you could claim that the live viewers didn't really see it either. So I think we'll have to come back to that at some other point. So I guess there's another invitation to join us when we do that one again.
All right.
But
Oh, maybe you should post the code change on the front page, so more
see,
people will be able to watch the replay. Just tell them how to go through
I
it.
know how Relic feels about that. I'll probably double check with them on it, but
All right.
because I mean it could be considered modifying game files in a way that's. I don't know if there's a way to use it to your competitive benefit. I doubt there is, but
But there's so many like glorious replays I'm not gonna be watched then.
yeah. I mean, yeah, I don't know. I'd have to see where they are on it. Because on one hand, you know, it's a way to fix a deficiency in their replay system, in their implementation of the replay system. I guess you could call it that. Like for example, like in StarCraft 2, you can still
You can still watch it. It just loads in the other patch. Yeah.
yeah, like load in the other path. But like Dawn of War 2, you can't do that. So, you know, it's one of those things where community making up for a bit of a lack there. Not that necessarily we expect Relic to, you know, to go ahead and have that functionality, but it is one of those things. Oh, I guess the one final burning question everyone wants to know, and then I'll let you go. Then we'll be done. It's the last question. I know I've said that 9,000 times now, but truly,
Perfectly
this
fine.
this question is the last question. Ed went Ravener Alpha and won. That one of those games in the final, it was 1-1 after he had won. With
You mean
Ravener.
Lictor Alpha?
Lictor. Was it Lictor? Gosh, why is my memory so off?
It's alright.
Okay, yeah, he went Lictor Alpha. Okay. He went Tyranids. But yeah, Lictor Alpha specifically. He went Tyranids and won. And I guess Tyranids may be just more important here because he's pretty good with Ravener Alpha as well. I guess that's why I was thinking that because he usually tends to go Ravener. But anyway, so, you know, he won that game with Tyranids, and then all of a sudden next game goes Apothecary. What were your thoughts on that? Like, what? And then he never really went back to Tyranids. Even when his back was against the wall, he went Warp Spider X-Star. Were you surprised by that? Or
Yeah, I was a little surprised he wasn't being Tyranids more often. I mean, in the game I lost when he was being Tyranids, I did have a few mishaps in my micro. Like my sorcerer, I missed a couple spells with him, and he died a few times. And plus, my heretics died like right off the bat from spore mines. which is my fault. I thought I can kill his Lictor in the beginning, but I didn't get the kill, and then my character just died.
Yeah,
So and
spore mines are still brutal, even with the increased detonation time. It was
yeah,
just
I thought I was literally saying, all right, they'll get away. This spore mines just got nerfed, 1 minute second decrease, and then they just die. I'm like, damn it. So then that really set me back, and then like I couldn't outrange in my Chaos Space range. There's just Ravagers were milling them left and right, and I was just all over the place. And Ed did get the better of me, and he did win. So after that, I was like, actually pretty nervous because I was all excited and like wow, I took off. I have a good lead, have the momentum going the first game, and I lost it the second time. So then we had a break, and I was just basically mental prepping myself the whole time. And I guess it paid off because he did go space range. I didn't know. I was surprised he went space range personally. I really didn't think he'd do it, but I was thankful he did because there's a good Chaos Lord strategy which he shot like lift up the single units.
yeah,
with the
yeah.
and
Drain
then send
life.
blood layers on them, and there's basically nothing they could do. So, but they have to basically keep the commander out of range of the Manto Hate the whole time, which has a small range, but usually it's hard to catch that in the middle of a big fight.
Yeah, a lot of
So
players just completely like ignore the fact that like it's like, oh, you have drain like Mantle of Hate and Drain Life, but I'm just gonna like put my librarian in melee and then complain when it gets Drain Life and like picked up and just destroyed by everything.
yeah, well, that's also one of the reasons I was actually almost thankful he was apothecary. And like you see, a lot of people be that would say the apothecary is imbalanced, but I don't know. I never really have much problem focusing down. Like I'm usually Force Commander or the or something like the Chaos Sorcerer, and the Force Commander could just battle cry, not get knocked down, focus on him. So, and he's really weak too. I mean, um, that's why the apothecary was like a command I kind of wanted to face rather than facing a Tech Marine who's just overcharged me in plasma guns all day. But so I did feel confident in when he switched to Space Marines, and I also felt like because I was choosing a small map as the first judgment, which he vetoed, then Quest Heresy, just to try to nullify the Tyranid capping slight capping advantage they have with the Gaunts. So I guess that's also why I forced him not to be Tyranids.
Yeah,
If,
okay.
at least he chose to.
So just kind of falling into that trap.
Hmm.
And then, yeah, it was kind of interesting. Even the last match down Seawall that he didn't go with Tyranids, and it was a map that he chose, and I guess you could even say that he probably had race/hero initiative throughout because, you were kind of locked in with Chaos. You weren't really going anywhere with that.
Yeah.
But anyway, so excellent job on the win. Thank you for participating today, and thanks for the interview. And I know I guess we got a little bit more work to do on the interview front in a
Yeah.
wee bit. But
All right. So
thank
so
you.
I'll just
Oh.
yeah, no problem. You're welcome. Sorry to interrupt your thank you
Oh,
there.
no, it's quite fine.
Jumping ahead myself. So I'll get off now, and I'll message you in a few then.
Alrighty then. So to all the
All right.
remaining viewers, thank you guys for sticking it out. Thanks for watching that absolutely horribly choppy stream. If you actually did indeed try and sit through that, and we're gonna fix that as best we can. Unfortunately, it comes down to either the streaming software or Ustream, probably the streaming software. But it was working this weekend, so I don't know what is up with it. And it was even working earlier today, and it was working, but it wasn't working on this channel. So again, I have to go ahead and look at that. I'll figure out what it is. And the second we figure it out, we will have proper dailies again, and you guys are gonna be yay dailies. But otherwise, at the moment, we'll get this interview posted up on YouTube, and we will not post the preceding portion. And but anyway, yeah. So thank you guys for tuning in. Thanks for watching Dawn of War 2 Daily with myself, VindicareX, as our guest, and Lord Lockar, who is not here right now because he had to go ahead and run out. These things go until 7 usually for a reason, and it's kind of a little ad hoc interview at the end. Bit ad hoc, but so unfortunately he wasn't able to be around for that. But anyway, again, thank you guys, and I don't know when we'll see you again, but it should be soon. But anyone watching the stream right now, go ahead and I think, I'm not sure if IC Cup 1 has anything going on, but if they do, you should totally check it out because they has some awesome StarCraft 2 stuff there for you. So until next time, 5-Star General signing out.
All right, see you guys.